welcome back to the Comic Book Lowdown. I'm Wellington, and today I'm finally bringing back the free digital comic reviews. This is where I review some books that I got for free either from the Marvel website or from Comixology.com. Usually I said I was going to start doing 3, but today I only have 2 books to review for free because I kind of have some stuff to do today. So I'm just going to get right into it. First one I got is Swamp Thing, issue number 1, written by Len Wein and art by Bernie Wrightson. And this is the first issue of Swamp Thing ever. This is from the 1972, I want to say. So I'm not familiar with Swamp Thing, but this was made for people not familiar with Swamp Thing because it's the first issue. This gives pretty much the whole backstory of how Swamp Thing becomes Swamp Thing, how he used to be Dr. Holland, and he was killed for, him and his wife Linda were killed for what they were doing. They were making some kind of chemical that could, what they said was make deserts into beautiful forests. So it pretty much create plant life. And so they were killed for the formula to do that by some, greedy people. And first Dr. Holland was killed, and he was burned with all the chemicals on him, and that's when he became Swamp Thing because of all the chemicals burned into his body. And then his wife Linda is killed because she's the last one left with the secrets to the formula. And Swamp Thing at the time came to grips with who he was already, and he kind of got distracted and couldn't save his wife, so kind of sad there. But I mean, I can see this issue being sad back when it was created back in the 70s. Now it stays kind of in the 70s. The art in it is great, I should say. The writing in it is pretty good. It's just the emotion in it is not what I would imagine it would be back in that day. Another thing that was kind of that time is how quickly Swamp Thing comes to grips with being Swamp Thing. He notices that he's all covered in moss and swamp and all this kind of stuff, and that's who he is now, and he just accepts it, and it doesn't really weigh on him, which I would imagine they go into later in the series, but of course not reading it. Again, the art's great, all that stuff is great, the story's good, it moves along very quickly, and there's just a lot that they go through in the story through just the whole origin of it they do in one issue, which is good for that time, and it's good for this review, but it doesn't really make for good stories or it makes for good stories, but it doesn't allow you to draw out the origin. For example, in Ultimate Spider-Man, how the origin was drawn out for issues and issues. This is, of course, just one issue. But anyways, I definitely liked it. I wasn't in love with it. Is this issue going to get me into Swamp Thing? No. But I'm really glad I read it because I've been interested in seeing what any type of Swamp Thing was like. I know this is not the classic Swamp Thing that is very acclaimed, like the Alan Moore Swamp Thing. But I just wanted to see what Swamp Thing was about, because a lot of people seem to love the character, and I'm not familiar with the character at all, so I'm really glad I got to start with the very first issue introducing the world to Swamp Thing. And next I have for you guys, let me just pull up the exact title, because it's a mini-series, limited series by Marvel, and that's Ghost Rider's Heaven's on Fire by Jason Aaron and Roland Boschi. And this story I actually liked a lot. I'm very interested in the character of Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider, that is. I know they don't have him in any book now. They canceled the Ghost Rider they had previously because it wasn't doing so good, and that was with some Alejandra girl that she was featured in Venom, and I didn't really like that or anything. I'm more into the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, and Jason Aaron does a pretty good job of writing that Ghost Rider, and this is the first issue of this limited series, and it had me wanting to read more of it, honestly. It set up a story about some Satanists were breeding the Antichrist, so they were gathering all these, really unworthy people in the world, like prostitutes and all these people. There's some funny parts in this where they're like, we're gathering up prostitutes and tax collectors and breeding them together, so to try to find the best combination to make an Antichrist. And then a renegade angel named Zadkiel goes into the worshiping house of Satan, where all these people are living, and he kills all the Satanists and all the Antichrist proteges, I guess, except for one Antichrist and one Satanist. So now that Antichrist, or now the Antichrist, is on the run, and that Satanist is actually, he's summoned the help from Hellstorm, or Hellstorm, I would say Hellstorm. Damien Hellstorm, which does not look like Damien Hellstorm at all in this. That was one of my biggest problems with this, is that when they announced Hellstorm, it didn't look like him at all. But at least they said his name, so I knew who it was. And it's kind of weird because this renegade angel named Zadkiel, he's pretty much trying to take over heaven. He's trying to take control of heaven, and he's actually done so. He's conquered heaven, and now his powers keep growing and growing, and now he's going after the Antichrist, so he can kill the Antichrist, then therefore making like the revelations in the Bible and all that kind of stuff null and void, and none of that stuff is going to come to fruition in the future. Like the rapture won't happen anymore, and the second coming won't happen if he kills the Antichrist, because he's already taken over heaven, and without the Antichrist there's no reason to have that. And now Zadkiel becomes God, and whatever he does is, he's writing pretty much the new history of the world. And so where it gets interesting is now Ghost Rider gets into the mix, and he has this female partner that I'm not sure who it is. They actually don't even say her name in it. But he has this female partner with him, and they're looking for answers. They run into some angels, some different renegade angels in disguise, and they have a fight with them, and they get some answers about Zadkiel's plan, and they pretty much come to the conclusion that they have to save the Antichrist, which is actually kind of funny if you think about it, because that's not really where you would normally see a story going. And so they're like, where do you think the Antichrist would run to? And then they start looking through places. Of course, they go to Vegas, and they go to Los Angeles, and then they go to the White House, and he's not in any of those places. And then Ghost Rider senses them, and they're at Wall Street. So it's kind of Jason Aaron throwing out, his own beliefs, like, this is where, real evil goes, this is where sin is, and in fact, the Antichrist is there, and he's just a teenager, but they even mention he's become a CEO of a big company on Wall Street, or whatever it is on Wall Street, but he's become a CEO, and he's done that by the sudden suicides of all his superiors. And so he's the quickest rising employee to CEO ever. And then just then, some, more renegade angels they bust in and they try to kill the Antichrist, and then there's another character brought into the mix named, I can't remember the name, I can look it up really quick. The name was Jane Cutter, occult terrorist. That's her title, and she's pretty cool. She is helping the Antichrist out, and it's kind of funny, just the concept of it. But then it's also very interesting, and so I definitely would like to continue reading this somehow, because I know Jason Aaron has written a pretty good Ghost Rider in the past. And I wish they would bring Ghost Rider back for Marvel now. I think if Aaron could get on it again, or if I feel like Cullen Bunn could do it pretty good, because he seems to be really good with the whole hell stuff and just horror type things. That seems to be Cullen Bunn's forte, and that's where I see that he could really shine with a title like Ghost Rider. So Marvel, if you're listening, get Cullen Bunn on a new Ghost Rider title, and we'll all be good. But anyways, that's my video for you guys. I'm Wellington signing off with the Comic Book Lowdown. I don't even know which episode of the free digital comic reviews this is, but of course it will be up there. And anyways, I'll see you guys next time.